political system of the USA. Revision. The USA is a federal union of 50 states. The basic law is the Constitution adopted in 1787, which prescribes the structure of national government and lists its rights and fields of authority. Each state has its government, and all of them have the dual character of both federal and state government. Although the American system of government is based on Great Britain's, it differs in having a written constitution, that is, the basis of all government and law. The Constitution of the U.S. was adopted after the War of Independence on the 17th of September in 1787. It lists the set of rules, law regulations, which provide the practical norms regulating the work of the government. The document embodied the practical theories of man of property. The main principle underlying the Constitution was as follows. Private property is the backbone of liberty. It was put forward by a rich plantation owner from Virginia, James Madison, who is known to be a father of the Constitution. The United States Constitution is the shortest written constitution in the world, with just 7 articles and 27 amendments. The Constitution consists of preamble and 7 articles. 27 amendments have so far been added to its original text. As well as its brevity, the U.S. Constitution is notable for being a remarkably stable document. The first 10 amendments were all carried in 1789, the same year as the original Constitution, and are collectively known as the Bill of Rights. The first 10 amendments, known as the Bill of Rights, were added in a group in 1791. These amendments established the individual rights and freedoms to all people of the states, including freedom of speech, freedom of press, freedom of worship, etc. At the heart of the U.S. Constitution is the principle known as separation of powers. This principle is also known as checks and balances, since each of the 3 branches of the state has some authority to act on its own, some authority to regulate the other 2 branches, and has some of its own authority, in turn regulated by the other branches. The political system of the USA is divided into 3 branches: judicial, legislative, and executive. This means that power is spread between 3 institutions of the state, and no one institution has too much power, and no individual can be a member of more than one institution. Each branch holds a certain degree of power over the others, and all take part in the governmental process. The great benefit of this system is that power is spread and counterbalanced. And the great weakness of the system is that it makes government slow, complicated, and legalistic. Since the Constitution is so old and so difficult to change for it to be meaningful to contemporary society, it requires interpretation by the courts, and ultimately it is the Supreme Court which determines what the Constitution means. And there are very different approaches to the interpretation of the Constitution, with the 2 main strands of thought being known as originalism and the living Constitution. Originalism is a principle of interpretation that tries to discover the original meaning of or intent of the Constitution. It is based on the principle that the judiciary is not supposed to create, amend, or repeal laws. Living Constitution is a concept which claims that the Constitution has a dynamic meaning, and that contemporary society should be taken into account when interpreting key constitutional phrases. So then, the federal power is located in Washington, D.C. It is based on legislative, executive, and judicial branches of power, and the legislative power is vested in Congress, which consists of 2 houses, the Senate and the House of Representatives. The executive branch is headed by the President, who is assisted by the Vice President. The President enforces federal laws, serves as Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. And the President can veto a bill unless Congress by 2/3 votes shall overrule him. The Vice President, elected from the same political party as the President, acts as Chairman of the Senate, and in the event of the death of the President, assumes the presidency. The President of the United States of America is chosen in nationwide elections every 4 years, together with the Vice President. The President cannot be elected for more than 2 terms. The cabinet is made up of department secretaries. The most important of them is the Secretary of State, who deals with foreign affairs. The judicial branch is made up of federal district courts, 11 federal courts, and the Supreme Court. Federal judges are appointed by the President for life. Federal courts decide cases involving federal law, conflicts between citizens of different states. According to the Constitution, the United States of America is a republic, so the officials of any rank are elected by US citizens. Every citizen has this right, which cannot be violated. So we have finished our revision of this topic, and check yourself.